This is the story of a boy named Gingy who was made of gingerbread. Grew up on a farm owned by a kind old woman who everyone called Nana. Ginger was her favorite out of all the baked goods. He made because he was curious and playful and not at all like the rest of the baked goods, which were dull and stupid. Every morning when Ginger woke up, he would look out the window of his house, which was shaped like a cupcake, and dream of what lay beyond the horizon. But Nana always told him there was nothing to see out there but more farms and fields. "Don't be silly," she'd say. "You're just a gingerbread cookie, and this is where gingerbread cookies live." But Ginger didn't believe her. He could tell by the way her eyes would look off into the distance when she said those words. The same way his own eyes looked when he gazed at the horizon. She knew there was more to the world, but she'd chosen to forget. One day, however, curiosity got the best of Ginger, and he decided to explore. So while Nana was sleeping, he packed some snacks into a little suitcase and snuck out of the house. It was terrifying at first, but exhilarating too. He was finally seeing the world for himself. And although it was mostly just more farms and fields, he didn't care. He felt free. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, a wolf appeared. Ginger screamed and started running as fast as he could, but the wolf was quick and soon got close enough to call out to him. "Hey, little cookie, where are you going?" Ginger didn't answer. Instead, he kept running until he came across a house deep in the woods. He knocked on the door and introduced himself. "Hello, my name is Ginger, and may I please come in? A big bad wolf is trying to eat me." The lady inside the house was kind and took pity on Ginger and let him come in. But soon after, the big bad wolf knocked on the door. "Let me in, kind lady, and don't you dare hide him from me," he said. "Hide who?" asked the lady. "Well, if you won't hide the gingerbread man from me, then I guess I'll have to find another house." And with that, the wolf walked away. As soon as the coast was clear, Ginger ran back to the cupcake house. He didn't feel brave anymore. All he wanted was Nana's warm hug. When Nana heard about what happened, she became furious. She took Ginger to the edge of the field and told him he was never allowed to leave again. "I won't protect you forever, Ginger," she said. "And when I'm gone, the world will be a dangerous place for you. You need to learn that." Ginger understood how selfish he'd been, but he still couldn't help wondering what lay beyond the horizon. Years went by, and Ginger and Nana grew old together. But one day she fell ill. Ginger took care of her as best he could, but there was nothing he could do. Soon, she closed her eyes for the last time, and Ginger buried her under the old oak tree. He felt so alone. Now that she was gone, he knew the world wouldn't be safe for him. He had to get out of here. But where could he go? Ginger started wandering around the farm aimlessly. As the sun began to set, he came across a dirt road and followed it until he saw a pair of headlights coming towards him. He froze in fear, but before he could run away, a car pulled up beside him and a young woman got out. "Are you okay?" she asked. Ginger told her about Nana and how he was all alone now. The woman felt sorry for him, so she offered to drive him to the nearest town, which turned out to be an hour away. Ginger backed away slowly, but they kept getting closer until one of them grabbed his suitcase and threw it into a nearby oven. "Wait, stop!" cried Ginger. But they didn't listen. He kept marching closer and closer until he turned and ran. He ran through the town square, past all the people eating his favorite type of candy corn, not caring that they were dropping their snacks and stepping on their discarded wrappers. He didn't stop running until he reached the edge of town. Then he looked back to see if anyone was following him. When he saw no one, he took a deep breath and continued on. Soon he came across a forest and walked inside. He hadn't realized how much his feet hurt until he stopped moving. He sat down on a log and cried. Why did he have to be different? Why couldn't he just be a boring old oatmeal cookie who didn't have to worry about anything? Just then, a little girl wearing bunny slippers hopped out from behind a tree. "Why are you crying?" she asked. Ginger hesitated, then poured out his heart to her. The girl listened patiently, and when he was done, she smiled. "I know exactly where you need to go," she said. She led him to a clearing where a small cottage sat beside a shimmering lake. "This is it," she said. "You should come and visit sometime." With that, she disappeared. Ginger approached the cottage cautiously, half expecting to be attacked by a witch or something. But when no one answered his knock, he opened the door and walked inside. It was cozy and inviting, with books lining the walls and comfortable-looking furniture scattered around. In the kitchen, a kettle whistled on the stove, and a clock ticked quietly on the counter. Ginger poured himself a cup of tea and sat down on a chair to wait for someone to appear. And wait he did, but no one ever came. Ginger decided to make himself at home. He read books and explored the attic until one day he found a photo album. He opened it and saw pictures of a young woman who looked just like the girl who brought him here. On the next page was a letter addressed to whoever found the album. Ginger read it out loud. If you're reading this, it means I'm gone. Please take care of the cottage and the garden. If anyone asks about me, just tell them I went to find myself. That's what I did, you know. When I was younger, I left home to find myself. But no matter how far I traveled, I couldn't outrun who I was. I ended up coming back empty-handed and no wiser than before. It's okay to leave home, to make mistakes, to get lost. It's what we're meant to do. Don't forget where you came from or who you are. Love, Willow. The letter made Ginger feel better. He wasn't the only one who'd struggled with finding themselves. And if Willow could come back home after traveling the world, maybe he could too. Ginger started taking care of the garden and the animals and fixing up the cottage. He felt happy here, but he knew he couldn't stay forever. One day he'd have to leave and find his own adventure. Until then, though, he was content to live a quiet life. One afternoon, Ginger was weeding the vegetable patch when he heard footsteps crunching in the gravel. He turned to see a woman walking towards him. She had bright eyes and an even brighter smile. "Hi there," she said. "I'm looking for someone named Ginger."